What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Canes Insight Daily Podcast. I am your host, Peter Ariz. Solo show today. D is actually recording a storm sessions on campus right now. So I'm going to be holding it down here, bringing you his update that he dropped on the website on canesinsight.com. Huge visitor list. Really important list of recruits that's going to be on campus Friday in Coral Gables for another spring practice here for Miami. As always, though, wanted to remind you guys that this show is brought to you by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Again, to take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. So Plank Time says, oh, wow, on time. Guys, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Since he's not here, he can't say anything about it. It's normally not my fault, all right? But, of course, D-Money is the heart and soul of what we do here at Canes Insight. So we gotta wait for him. We gotta live with his few minutes late here and there that we deal with him. But, you know, the info that we're going to get into now in just a second is from him, that he made a post on the website earlier. Of course, also have to mention that Miami has announced the hire of Jay Lucas as the next head basketball coach, and we're very excited about that, about the possibilities that we'll get into some more things later in the show. Of course, we reported that back on February 22nd. So now the school has officially announced that he's getting to work recruiting wise. They're going to be finishing out the season here this weekend, regular season with Duke, and then starting at Miami. So we'll get more into that. Really cool videos from the likes of LeBron, D Wade, Jared McCain, Tristan Thompson, as JR Godfather says. Anthony Edwards was really cool as well. So we'll get into all that. But let's get into the recruiting side of things that I know we are always very, very interested in. And this news was brought to you by D-Money not too long ago on the website, a few hours ago, I should say now at this point. And again, you go to the website, it's on the front page, and it's also on the message boards. But Miami to host key visitors on Friday. And we'll go through the list here, but it's a really nice list. And this is obviously not going to be every single recruit that's there, but these are some of the key names to watch that will be here tomorrow, starting with quarterback Darion Coleman, Miami's quarterback commit for the class, who just won the MVP at the Under Armour camp, has been awesome as he, continues to put that good weight on. The arm talent has shined through. Big season for Jones in Orlando. There, of course, played with Vernell Brown, who signed with Florida. But so the first name on the list, Darion Coleman, we've seen a lot of his clips. Just the arm talent really shines through. The second name on this list, as I'll pull up his tape here, Jason Lopez, did an entire show dedicated to this guy recently. And again, if you want to really get in depth on him as a player, I suggest you go watch that show. Talked a lot about his basketball background and stuff like that. But you see the tape, dominant receiver for Chaminade. You see the body control, the adjustment there. Legit ability after the catch as well. You see him in the slot. Again, big-time basketball player, has legit offers. We'll see now with the Jay Lucas situation, now that he's official, if he starts to get involved with recruitments like Calvin Russell, like Jason Lopez, and figure out what you do with those guys, because they both want to play basketball at the next level, and they're really good players. So we'll see what happens. There obviously Jay Lucas is going to have his plan, so got to make sure everything kind of meshes. But Lopez, to me, an absolute must get in this class. One of the best receivers down here, and not just a possession receiver, slot guy. Of course, there's going to be natural comparisons to Restrepo, who went down as one of the best ever at Miami and statistically the best. But I think Lopez is someone here. Here you see his ability in the open field, who can forge his own path here, and is a big time player. And this is Aquinas that we're seeing right here. So he'll be on campus. That's going to be an important one. Christianville says J-Rock, Christianville's wide receiver number one. So I know he's a guy that locally has a lot of support, and I'm a big believer in him. So that's the other guy. Just looking at this list here, continuing to go down the list of these guys who will be on Miami's campus tomorrow. And the next one, a guy that is a more of a recent name. D-Money dropped this name for the first time on the bank. I don't know if it was last week or the prior week, but that's Joel Irvin from Fort Myers, offensive tackle, only a 3-star right now, rated as number 99 player on the composite in the state of Florida. So not highly rated, but 6'6", 280, has a Florida offer, has a Kentucky offer, has Miami, Arkansas. And I'm going to pull up his tape here in just a second. A guy that you see the athletic tools and traits that we continuously talk about in terms of what Coach Mirabal likes to bring in and take a chance on. You're obviously in the mix with highly rated national players such as Kenye Pepe, Jackson Cantwell, getting those guys on campus multiple times. So really, you expect to have a huge offensive line class. And when I say huge, you expect to land on multiple nationally, blue chip rated guys. And then you can mix that in with some of these athletic types who maybe a guy like Irvin doesn't have the big name right now, but you see the finish here. You see the size, you see the athleticism, athletic frame, not a sloppy frame. You see him pulling here and actually, no, excuse me, that wasn't him pulling. He's there getting to the second level. So guy who has athleticism and traits that you'd like to bet on if he's going to have the chance to get coached and developed by Coach Mirabal. And here he is. We see him playing tackle. Is he a guard potentially at the next level? Either way, this looks like a nice potential piece. Ben Cogden, who just committed, sort of similarly. I mean, Cogden he's bigger than him in terms of his height, but not a finished product. You see the athletic tools and say, man, a few years in the weight program and under the tutelage of a developer like Coach Mirabal and that offensive line staff over there, everyone in the room, you got to be excited about this sort of prospect here. Ray Haynes saying Lopez and Malachi Tony were the two best wide receivers I saw in person last year. Lopez killed American Heritage for over 200 yards. So productive. Excuse me. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm with you. I've been all over Lopez in terms of him being a high level, high priority take, in my opinion. Obviously, Calvin Russell locally is another guy who different sort of receiver, but is very high on Miami's board. Tristan Keys, we interviewed recently. Remember to hit that interview up if you haven't seen it already on Kane's Insight on the YouTube page. And remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel, guys. So keep continuing to go down the list. Again, this is a big visitors week. I was gonna say weekend. It's a Friday. And we saw it was a huge list, not huge list, but important visitors as well on Monday for the opening practice. As we continue to go down the list, Jordan Campbell out of Carroll City, very highly rated linebacker, a guy who's been committed to Miami for a while. Looks like he's not going to be taking any other visits in terms of officials other than Miami right now. And he 6'2", 200, has a nice athletic frame. The composite has him as a top 90 player in the country and has him as the number 11 player in the state of Florida. Had a chance to see him last year at one of these camps. I think it was the Under Armour camp. And as I pull up his huddle here, guys, sorry, I'm a one-man show today, so I'm doing a million things at once. But here's Jordan Campbell, really the athletic type that you're looking for. You see him off the edge here, and good size to him also. But you see him chase down here. You see the speed all the way downfield. So someone who I'm high on and has been a nice piece to this class in terms of trying to get other local guys on board. But here you see the twitch, the explosiveness off the edge. Just read that play really nicely, and we'll see what his position's going to look like. But we'll probably understand pretty quickly, as we've heard with Coach Heatherman, that he just likes to get these athletes in the building and figure out different ways to use them. It's not necessarily, man, you see that burst right there. You see the length and the pressure on the quarterback. So Jordan Campbell will be another guy on campus for Miami this Friday for practice as we continue to go down the list here. And still some big ones, some big names to get here too. Starting with this one right here, Jalen Waters, of course, has been Miami's priority defensive back target. Can play corner, probably going to play corner, I would say, at the next level, but can play safety. Has the length, the athleticism, the twitch, the size, everything you're looking for, the ball skills, the confidence at that position. That's really, really important. And was a commit to Florida. It was trending. It looked like Miami's way for a while. And then, of course, Will Harris comes over from Florida. And I think that kind of put the cherry on top of things. Has not officially, of course, announced anything, but it continues to trend that way. We'll see what happens here. Obviously, a great sign to get him on campus once again, because you really, the more you get guys like this on campus around, especially you have a Tristan Keys on campus recently, right? So, and you understand he's going to come again, but you get a Waters around. The more elite players you just get in the building, they start to see each other. I know Keys wasn't here the same day Waters was, but Keys still has an official visit coming up. Waters could be around then as well. You just never know. The more you get these guys in the fold, the more they talk, the more they want to potentially team up and play with each other. And I just think that it's a really, really good sign as we continue to try to get an early start. And not an early start at this point. This is the hot period now as you line up these official visits. But continuing to go down the list here, Justice Fitzpatrick, of course, Minka Fitzpatrick's brother, St. Thomas Aquinas. He is going to be another guy who's on campus for practice tomorrow. You got Georgia in the mix, Alabama, of course, which is where his brother played. I mean, this is an elite prospect. This is a top 50 composite player in the country, number 4 player in the state of Florida, number 5 player in the state of Florida, number 5 corner in the country. So getting him on campus, obviously, great sign. Getting him on campus with Jalen Waters, great sign as well. So continuing to just stack these elite visits on top of each other. And sorry, guys, I'm just seeing some comments here. I'll get to some questions as I continue to roll through here. When I'm on with D and kind of look at the comments as well as pay attention to everything else I'm looking at. But someone else to mention, Andre Clark from Richmond, Virginia, Hermitage High School. I hope I'm saying that right. Hermitage. I might have put a little French flair on it that it didn't need, but Richmond, Virginia. This is where Andre Clark's from, and this is a safety, top 200 player in the composite, top 10 player in the state of Virginia. 247 is higher on him than the composite, but I'll pull up his tape here. 6'1", 175, and we understand that Miami continuing to try to overhaul that defensive backs room. Saw what they did in the portal this year and hope to add some elite guys through high school ranks here as it's loading, the huddle's loading, but plays both sides of the ball, plays corner. So you're getting someone pretty much all these guys that Miami's recruiting, it feels like, play multiple positions, play offense, play defense. So the ball skills and just the being a football player, here he is lined up at safety. And right off the bat, makes a really nice play on the ball, high points it, and just kind of seems like he's gliding out there, right? So seems like a really rangy guy just based off the first play. Second play at corner, and you see him in press coverage there. I don't know, kind of looked like a weird situation there, but look at that. Still ends up making the play and be a pick 6 there. So right off the bat, the ball skills are evident for him. And another one here as he's at corner. Nice tracking back on the ball. Good adjustment and an interception. So Andre Clark, again, from Richmond, Virginia. He's going to be another one on campus tomorrow for practice. spring practice number 3. Here he is, a wide receiver, touchdown. So we mentioned he played both sides of the ball. And again, this is a very impressive list for a Friday, a spring practice on a Friday, early March. You got, again, going down the list again. If you're just joining me, went down this list, played some of the clips, but Darion Coleman, Miami's quarterback commit, will be there. Jason Lopez, Chaminade Madonna, wide receiver. Joel Irvin, tackle, guard, from Fort Myers, plays tackle at high school level right now. Really high upside potential sort of player who I think Miami believes could take a big jump. These senior highlights are always important. We saw it with the likes of Demetrius Campbell last year, similar mold in terms of the athletic profile. But Joel Irvin, someone that they're very excited about, and they believe is more of a sleeper at this point. Probably see him, not probably, I know they see him much higher than what he's rated at right now. Jordan Campbell, longtime Miami commit from Carroll City at linebacker. He will be there. Jalen Waters, Miami obviously has been trending in a nice direction with him recently. Justice Fitzpatrick and Andre Clark. So a lot of defensive guys there I just mentioned, but obviously we have the offensive guys as well, starting with Darion Coleman. So no, man, it's been a nice start here to spring in terms of getting guys on campus, and we'll see if anything comes from these visits lined up here. So I wanted to switch gears here to, and if you guys want to drop football questions in there, of course, I'll get to what I can. I don't really want to speak on, we have a question here about Cannon Pickett and a question about Jabari Brady. I'll wait for D Money because he's a little bit more privy, I think, to kind of their plans at certain spots, and I don't want to misspeak, quite frankly. But yeah, I'll kind of jot that down and I'll have him get to that tomorrow for you guys. Let's see what else. JR Godfather, this is the short videos I've seen. Poyser and Lucas look like studs from the body standpoint, and just like the twitch and what you can see, it definitely looks different. The fluidity at that size, you don't see that all together in one, and production was there for both of them too. It's one thing to say a guy has the frame, but they're pretty close to being. Now, there's always room for improvement, but it's not like you're just getting a guy who say, wow, he can run and he looks good. They're already really good football players. So that hasn't always been the case with some of these guys that we're looking at and we get excited about, because you say, man, look at them. They look the part, and we see clips of them doing certain things and we get excited. But at the end of the day, you want to see that production at this level. And both of those guys did that. Of course, Lucas at a bit of a higher level than Poyser, but just seeing Poyser up close, I think that jump isn't going to be too difficult for him. And going up against the speed that he's going to be seeing in practice, I think that should help that adjustment for when the lights come on, obviously during the game time. So Kirk Granger asking, who's the physically most impressive? Who surprised you? I mean, Hayden Lowe, we've talked about it a lot, just doesn't look like a freshman. And I think every Canes reporter who's been out there would probably tell you the same thing. Justin Scott looks a lot bigger, which he needed to put that weight on. Was looking like a freshman who was a basketball player who just needed a full year in the weight room and the nutritional program. So yeah, I mean, we've pretty much the stuff I've said in the first couple instant reactions. I'll do another one tomorrow from the car after practice in the morning. But those have pretty much been the guys who have stood out. Luka Gilbert as a freshman has been really intriguing to me as well, at a position where you're looking for some guys to step up. So Brandon asking if D is coming on. No, man, I'm solo today. D is actually recording Storm Sessions, I believe with the Cavender twins. So that should be a cool episode. Hassan, appreciate the support, man. And he reminds you all, don't forget to smash that like button, without a doubt. So Kyle asking, Pete, do you think SJ Alafatuli is shorter than 6'2"? Um, I would probably say 6'1". I don't worry too much about height at center, especially when he's as powerful and as quick. Like he's gonna test whenever that time comes for the NFL. They'll do testing as well in the offseason, I'm sure, but the shuttle times are going to absolutely like be the the most elite that they could be at that spot. So I think that's going to make up for a lot of stuff at center. And he has the strength too. From what I've heard, he's already doing great things in the weight room and then picking things up. So I worry more about the smarts. And then do you have the quicks and the strength to hold up? He has all that. If you're talking about guard or tackle, I'm a little bit more worried about the height. But and Kyle's asking now if I think he can play a fullback role, blocking tight end type. I mean, in formations, why not? I think he has that skill set. And Miami's been with Cristobal. They've been creative with getting extra blockers on the field. We've seen McCoy as an extra tight end, right? Lofton, Cam McCormick, which it's not that that's creative. He was the third tight end, but I wouldn't say it's out of the picture. So James Kane saying center is more technical than anything. Yeah, I mean it's rare they're going one-on-one with nose tackles, but they usually get help from the inside from one of the guards. But yeah, it's one of those things where the buzz is very good about him, right? And there hasn't been that concern of, man, I don't know if he can hold up from a strength standpoint. So now I wanted to get into, of course, some basketball talk. I was going to say Malachi Tony. Jay Lucas is Miami's new coach, as we found out here 2 weeks ago, pretty much, when we announced it here on Kane's Insight that he was set to become the next coach. But we're excited now. The school has officially announced it. Of course, Miami wraps up their regular season this weekend against NC State. And the big news from this, which came yesterday when reports were leaking out, but that he's not going to finish the season with Duke in terms of he's going to, I believe they have North Carolina this weekend, finish out with them. No ACC tournament. He's getting to work recruiting wise for Miami and putting his staff together and all that. Press conference Monday, as we first reported on Kane's Insight on the basketball board as well. So this thing's as done as can be, and he's starting to work for Miami now. So the task begins putting this team together from a personnel standpoint, really just fixing what has gone wrong the last 2 years. And again, we say it every time. I kind of preface this conversation always with we're very appreciative and love what Coach L did for this program, still around campus, and still has a lot of love for this program as he should. He took us to very close to the pinnacle of winning the championship, but took the program to a different level, and we love him. But it's now time for Miami to step into this new era with Coach Lucas, and it's not just hire. It's not just saying we're going to hire a young coach and we're going to get with the times because he can relate to the players. That's not what I mean. I mean building the infrastructure around him, getting a general manager, getting someone who has a personnel department. There's people in a scouting roles, scouting other conferences for the portal, putting a real basketball ops organization and operation together. That I think great things were done here during the time of Coach L, but you need to move the program forward now. And I think that's part of what the plan is for Coach Lucas. And he talked about it. The school tweeted out a couple videos that actually Miami Angels Share Society just referenced, said they released a great intro video with Joe Z today. Very likable guy. Go watch it. I suggested I actually tweeted out a couple clips from the Kane's Insight page, and there was some stuff that I found was very interesting from it. One of the things was Lucas, and that was the clip that I tweeted. Let me pull it up and I'll play it for you guys. But basically, the clip was Coach Lucas saying, look, I've been at Kentucky, I've been at Duke, I've been at Texas, and these were the top programs in terms of NIL the last few years when NIL became a thing for hoops. I know what it's supposed to look like. This is not what he said word for word, but basically the way I read it is he knows what it's supposed to look like, and he's confident that Miami has the people in place and the infrastructure and the budget. Right? It's one thing to say, well, we're going to spend money, but are you going to spend it in the right places? And I think I'm going to play the clip now. That's what makes me excited about the hire is like, I know because I've talked to people, there's going to be the resources behind it, behind him and getting the right guys here to fill this roster out. But like, I don't think he if he didn't actually believe that and think that we were positioned that way to be able to do that sort of stuff and be at the forefront of NIL and things of that nature, then he wouldn't have taken this job because he knows what it's supposed to look at its peak. So let me play this clip for you real quick.
Well, it's different, it's completely different than the college basketball we all grew up knowing 10, 20 years ago. There's so much more that is involved with recruiting, with just the portal, with NIL, everything moving forward. And I've had the unique opportunity to be places that have been at the forefront of doing what is most suited for where it's headed. My work I've done here at Duke, but also at Kentucky, we were kind of the first two schools to really jump into this NIL era, and I feel be very successful. So, my job is to bring my resources and everything that I've learned everywhere I've been and apply it to Miami and the best way that fits Miami, but also fits me and my person.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think it's one of those things where, excuse me, am I on the screen right now? Oh, there we go. I'm back. Sorry. So it's one of those things where, like I said, I don't think he would have taken the job if he didn't think the resources were behind him and Miami was going to back him. And he was up against Miami in some recruiting battles here. Obviously, the Boozers being the most recent and biggest one, and might have been the only one now that I think about it. But he knows what Miami was bringing to the table. So we will see what he does here in terms of how immediately he can get some guys here. I think it'll be rather soon. That's part of the reason he's starting now and is introduced at the press conference on Monday, because he needs to get that head start on the portal, which is opening now soon. And Miami's now going to be very uniquely positioned where they have their head coach in place, announced, and other schools are probably close to finishing up their processes, but Miami's the only school now with their next guy in place, from what I understand. So it's going to be a big jump on the process. And with all of the back channeling and what we understand his network is behind the scenes in the basketball world, I have a good feeling it's one of those situations where people are going to be reaching out to him. There's going to be people who are interested in coming to play at Miami, coming to work for him, work with him. I know this for a fact that's already the case, because they see the potential if the right group of people come together here, right? I mean, it's going to be very important filling out this staff. Of course, we all know he has not been a head coach and he does not have that experience. So he's going to need people around him who maybe do have experience and do know how to face unique situations that come about when you're a head coach. I don't have any doubt that this guy has the X's and O's of the game down. I think there's kind of been this image of him as just a recruiter, right? Because he's been so successful as a recruiter. But if you talk to people at Duke, and just I've been reading a lot of the Duke boards, like people they aren't very they're happy for him, but they are not happy that he's not going to finish out the season with them, because he's been a huge part of their game planning and runs a lot of their defense. So I don't think a guy like that is having the role that he has at Duke. We know what he does recruiting wise, but from coaching standpoint, don't think that's happening. Really, really don't think that's happening. So we'll see. Que Talento says keep an eye for Bryce James, who believe he's committed to Arizona right now. But we saw the video that I'll play here. I posted on Instagram. It was LeBron. I said the greatest ever has a message for to Jay Lucas. I don't know. D-Money did not approve that caption I used on it, but let me pull that one up. That was another cool part of this, which it is what I hope happens. And I think part of what the allure of what they're going to try to do in building this Miami as a destination for top recruits is, in terms of basketball, is making it the cool place to work out in the off seasons, right? You have LeBron here, who has a 40-second message, and you have D Wade, you have Anthony Edwards, other guys he's recruited. But here's LeBron. Let me pull this up right now.
Jay Lucas, man, I just want to say, Jay Lucas, man, I just want to say congratulations to you, man, on your head coaching job down there at the University of Miami. To you, that's what they call it, man. They're gonna welcome you with open arms. It's all nothing but love down there. It's all family, and I know you'll have a great time. Congratulations to you and your family, and go ahead and do big things, man. Truly an unbelievable accomplishment, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And you got my support. You got all our support down there, man, that we've been able to accumulate over the years down there in the 305. So go ahead and do your thing, and we'll be watching for sure. Salute to you.
So, yeah, like I said, the greatest ever, LeBron James, left that message for Coach Lucas. And then they had Anthony Edwards. He welcomed him to the Adidas family, is what he said too, which I thought was funny. But no, it's that sort of, you see the support, right? I mean, obviously the Lucas family, his father has been, such a legend in the game, has helped a lot of people, not only in their careers on the court, but off the court, and other athletes. Like I mentioned on a show before, we used to send some of our clients, not some of them, like I believe we had one person in particular that we had sent to John Lucas, just like a life coach, mental coach, just getting guys right. But yeah, I'm excited about this hire, guys. I really am, just because hearing the support from behind the scenes that I really believe they're going to try to build out for him. And look, you got to get the talent here. That's his number one asset, is flipping this roster potentially. That's what we think he can do, and we'll see how quickly it happens. It's March 6th now, so in the next few weeks, this portal will open, and we'll go from there. But I'm excited to see what he does. And of course, all of the basketball coverage, which we've had you guys covered this entire way. And already I'm kind of dropping hints at some people they're going to be hiring on the staff. If you're on the board, and you've seen the rumors already elsewhere, but I've been hinting at this now for a couple weeks. I would look for Andrew Moran from Columbus to be a member of the staff. Feel pretty strongly that one's gonna happen. And mention with him, it's not just the boot. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh wow, does that mean they're getting the boozers?" Look, I think it's a better than 0% chance there. I don't think it's a 0% chance, but that hire is not just to land the boozers. You're talking about a guy who is a big time developer, is one of the top pre-draft. In basketball, in any sport, it's important, but the skill development and the skill training is something that I think he's absolutely elite at. And I think you need a couple guys like that on staff. He's someone who he works with the likes of Cade Cunningham. He prepped him for the draft. I remember when he was the first pick, and he's had other top picks. Multiple first rounders a year he trains to get ready for the draft and for the combine. And for their workouts. So this is a guy who's highly regarded in that aspect. Columbus also does have a top 10, top 15 prospect next year, Caleb Gaskins, who's big time, can score at all three levels from what I've been told, plays with an edge. So yes, there's going to be a recruiting aspect of it. He has ties to a lot of places, has coached high level AAU for a long time. But you're talking about a real coach of the game here too, right? So, yeah, Kane's Cat C305 says leave him at Columbus. Christianville says George Milo should join, one of the top assistants there at Columbus, and one of Coach Moran's partners in crime. Coach Milo is another guy who's right there with him in terms of the development. But listen, Miami's been a hub for guys to come train at in the offseason, NBA guys already. So you bring that and you say, we got our coaches in the building, and then Moran has his team of guys like a Coach Milo, who, like, you're already letting these guys in the facility anyways. You start to build that network, make Miami the place to be from a basketball sense. It sounds crazy, but the stars are already here in the offseason. Let's make it the hub. And you do that by obviously bringing a guy like Coach Lucas, who has a ton of supporters. We're seeing big time support in the basketball world. People just want to see him win because he seems like a genuine guy. There's a level of that to it. His dad has helped so many people over the years. I'm sure there's people who feel indebted to his dad in a certain way. So, and he's worked his way to this point, right? Completely has earned this opportunity. If it wasn't Miami, it would have been somewhere else. So really think that it's something that is going to work. A-Rob saying, come on, Pete, AAU, high-level AAU is not fundamental basketball. I don't mean that from the coaching aspect. The coaching aspect, listen, he's about to win his 4th straight state title at Columbus. Having the Boozers helps, right? But he's done this with them since freshman year. I'm talking about the connections. When I say he's coached high-level AAU basketball, he's coached the best AAU team in the country the last 4 years. So he's known on the AAU circuit, right? That's what I mean. That when you're coaching high-level AAU basketball, he has seen and coached he's either coached or coached against the top prospects in the country for probably the next 3 to 4 years coming out, right? And Christianville says 5 overall state titles. He won it at Doral, correct? Let me know if I'm wrong on that, Christianville, but believe it was at Doral with, who was it? Jojo Nunez, the shooting guard, who was a baller. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but A-Rob, that's what I'm talking about. And when we talk about developing kids, I'm talking about the NBA guys that come to him in the offseason to develop their games. And Tim Hardaway is someone who's worked with him for a long time as well, I know. But I'm talking about those guys who come to him to sharpen their game. And I'm talking about the college or international players who need to be at their sharpest for these workouts. Who do they go to before that happens? And who do these agencies with the top prospects go to? They go to Andrew Moran. So that's like when these hires get made, people automatically just say, well, okay, well, it's because he has the Boozers. They're going to try to get them. And I don't like to diminish the accolades of a guy like this. So that's why I'm kind of going through the entire resume. Christianville, you've been all over it as well. So you know the deal. So that's a guy who's, from what I understand, most likely going to be part of the staff. We've heard Bruiser Flint, longtime coach in the league. His name, has been thrown around as a possible assistant. He's at Arkansas now with Coach Cal. Was at Kentucky with Coach Lucas. So as I said with the head coaching search, when I get the names, when I get people that I think are going to be part of the staff or have a good chance, then I will let you guys know. Until then, I'll keep digging, and we will, we'll try to give you guys that info as soon as we can. But go to the basketball board, guys. I post a lot of this stuff on there. Good discussion. A lot of people in the basketball community who are on there, and we're excited about this Coach Lucas era, and we'll be at the press conference on Monday. So excited for that. And as always, basketball coverage brought to you by Aries Law. Check out AriesLawPA.com. Yes, my father, guys, and this is estate planning. So trusts, wills. This is not stuff we like to talk about, right? But you want to plan your future so others don't. And that is AriesLawPA.com. Schedule a free consultation. You can do it virtually or in person. His office is on Coral Way in the Gables, headed towards Brickell. See the address right there. So check him out for your estate planning needs. You will not be disappointed. Don Snaps asking, when does he come in? If you're talking about Coach Lucas, he's going to be here on Monday. So press conference Monday. And yeah, so he'll be announced. I would imagine he's already at work. They've announced it officially. The school has. So I would think he was already working maybe before it was officially announced. That's a hunch of mine. I would call it a strong hunch, but that's how that's the world we live in. That's the coaching world. It's not anything that anyone else wouldn't have done. So Coach Lucas era, it's here. We'll be there on Monday, and excited for this weekend, big weekend of visitors, of course, for Miami, as I said. And we got baseball in town, got UConn in town. Mark Light, go check them out this weekend. Go get your gear at Miami Hurricane Team Store across from campus. And of course, MiamiHTS.com. As you see here, got the new Addy Zero shoes that just dropped. So you can get them on the website. Promo code INSIGHT20 gets you 20% off your order online or in store. You just got to give them the code. They got the button for it in store. INSIGHT20, 20% off. Again, Miami Hurricane Team Store, MiamiHTS.com. All right, guys, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. As James Kane says, it's all about the you. Like, share, subscribe. Go Canes. We'll see you guys tomorrow.